Hey guys, and welcome to part 52 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. Now this is a bonus part, because in the last part that was the final part, but of course with how much extra stuff I did show off of this game, catching all the legendaries and all that, it felt only right that I would show off these extra cool things that you can check out, because once you've beaten Red, a few more things activate. Now the very first one that you can go do is, if you come back to Professor Oak after beating Red, you can pick one of the Kanto starters. Now it's one of those things where that's pretty damn cool. You can only pick one of them, and of course I won't actually be using it because this is just a bonus part. But yeah, I went for Bulbasaur. Why not? Because that was the one all the way on the right. But yeah, so you go to Oak and you can get one of the 3 starters. It is level 5, but that's a really cool kind of extra thing that they just kind of threw in there. Now, there is also one more place you can go, or one more kind of extra thing you can do, by going to Saffron City, because if you remember earlier in the game when we were catching Latos, Steven from the Hoenn region showed up and was like, hey, I've played with kids like you before, or something like that. I don't know the exact phrasing of what he said, it's something like that. So if you come over to Sylph Cove building, where there really isn't that much here, the guys actually seem to have gotten out the way to the elevator, but we don't need to go there. But we can find Crazy Steven, who has grey blue hair, so I think he's meant to be really old. I don't know. So you can only come talk to him once you've beaten Red, and once you have, he will ask you to pick a colour stone. Now, each of those stone correlates to one of the Hoenn starters. So I just picked the red stone because again it doesn't really matter, but yeah, so you can get Trico, Torchic or Mudkip. Now of course I'm not going to pick Mudkip because that would disgrace the wonderful name of Kips from my Pokemon Emerald LP. But yeah, so they're level 5, they are starters, but if you want these Pokemon, then they're here for you to get. Of course with the DS it's a lot easier to just kind of trade it over, but it's still kind of cool that this is, you can do it like this. This is one way of getting them. So now we're on to the main event. Those were just kind of 2 extra things you can do and check out, and I thought was really cool. I had no idea that you could do that, so when I kind of read about it, I was like, hey, that's pretty neat. So again, once you've beaten Red, once you've collected your Kanto starter from Professor Oak, you have to collect your starter. I tried to do this without going and picking up a Bulbasaur or whatever, and he won't do this, so you have to pick up your Kanto starter, and then you come all the way back to Mr. Pokemon's house, which is a massive pain in the arse, by the way, I'm gonna say. I mean, well, it's not a pain to get here, it just seems there's no real... I mean, that's the main problem with this kind of post-game stuff anyway, is that there's no guidance to it. So the only way I knew to come here was because of the internet. But yeah, so if you come over to there, he will give you a special orb. Depending on what game you're playing, you get like the red orb or whatever it's called if you're playing SoulSilver, and you get the blue orb if you're playing Heart Gold. So you can only get one orb in each game. So now you have to take this orb over to the embedded tower, and it's pretty cool. Chuck's here. Hi Chuck. Frankly, I don't give a... Nah, this is... thought I was going to say something, thought I was going to curse. Good times. But yeah, so you have to come all the way over here to Sinnohwood City. He's like, hey, you're going to the embedded tower, and you're just like... He's like, yeah, that's really cool, you're going to have a great time, and you're just like... And that's the end of the conversation. So yeah, so you have to come to this route. Again, it's one of those things that I just kind of... I couldn't really... Okay, you gotta excuse my playing for a second here, because I couldn't really remember where it was, because you have to come all the way down here, and you can come to this place beforehand, but there's no reason to come to this place beforehand, because, we came to this route ages ago. Once the Safari Zone opened up, you were able to come along this route, and I did come and I did check out this route, but I went straight there. Oh no, I guess I edited that out, nice! Because the first time I came to this place, I kind of completely forgot where it was. So the trick is, all you have to do is go to the water, surf around, and then find a place where you need rock climb. And that's the reason why Chuck's there, is because he says you need surf and rock climb, so you know to look out for those 2 things. And because we have the red orb, we have Groundon, yeah. We have one more legendary Pokemon to catch. So that's the reason why I did this bonus part, because I went out of my way to catch all the other legendary Pokemon. I might as well catch this one as well. And this one was a pain to catch. The problem with this Pokemon is that it's ground type, so as you know, my tactic for catching these things is to use Thunder Wave and paralyze it. But of course electric type moves don't work on ground type, so I didn't have that option. And also it doesn't really have any attacks that it doesn't have any attacks where static can come into play. Because even if it's ground type, you can paralyze it by using the Fluff's ability of static. You can paralyze it that way. But of course that didn't work either, so I did this a lot, spent a lot of time doing this, and my only tactic I could come up with was hit it with a waterfall, hit it with a surf, that brings it down to red health, and then once you get into red health, it will then use rest, because it has rest apparently, I don't know, and then it will heal itself all the way back up, but because it's sleeping, it's guaranteed to sleep for 2 moves. So once again, use waterfall, and then surf, and then throw a Pokeball at it, because this was the only way I could do it so it had a status element associated to it, because it's still a legendary Pokemon. Even though it's level 50 and my Pokemon are almost level 70, it's still a legendary Pokemon. It's still hard to catch. You still kind of need it to have some sort of status element on it, and this was the only way I could kind of get it done. And the reason why this was a pain is because the whole trick to catching legendary Pokemon is that you get it into a position where it's weak and where it has a status element, and then you just keep chucking Ultra Balls until you get lucky. But the whole trick is to get yourself into that position where it's on low health, and in where you can stay in that range where it's on low health and keep chucking Ultra Balls, because in the end you have to get lucky. So all you have to do when catching legendaries is increase your chances. But with this it was really hard to do, because see, here in this situation it's asleep, it's on low health, I throw an Ultra Ball at it and I'm unlucky, and that's guaranteed to happen. You're not going to get lucky and catch on your first go. It's just so rare to happen that you need a tactic. So really this is just what I kept doing. I tried many other kind of things, but this seemed to be the guaranteed one. Because another problem I had was that my Pokemon are a lot stronger than this thing. It's only level 50, it's a bit of a punk. I could really easily kill this thing and not even think about it. So I kind of had to come up with a combination of attacks that would lower its HP to a reasonable level. And because I wanted to take advantage of the fact that it fell asleep and use rest, I needed to make sure that I got it down to red health while it was asleep in 2 turns. I had to make it so I could damage it in either 1 turn or 2 turns. Now, there might have been an attack I had that would have damaged it all the way down to red health in 1 turn, and that would have been really handy, but I found out that this was the best way of doing it. So, because Mega Dude's Waterfall, did a nice kind of chunk. Surf does like half health, and then Waterfall does like a bit under half health, so I kind of did get screwed over a few times when Waterfall accidentally killed the thing. Because it's only a ground type, so it is super effective. But I mean, my advice to catching this thing is have a Pokemon with sleep powder. I mean, that's the only kind of really thing I can recommend here, because even if you can't paralyze it, you can't really poison it, so you kind of have to have sleep powder. It was just one of those things where I was I would have to find a move that put this thing to sleep, and then or found a Pokemon that had sleep powder or hypnosis or something like that, and then train that Pokemon up so it could be respectable against this thing. And I did not want to do that at all. This overall seemed like a quicker strategy, because in the end I could still get myself into a position where I had decent chances of catching it. I just couldn't keep myself in that position for long, because then it just healed itself. And during this battle I was kind of thinking, I really wish I was taking on the big whale thing in Heart Gold rather than taking on this big demon thing in SoulSilver. It was kind of a bit of a pain, but again, it wasn't the worst legendary to catch. It easily could have been, but it kind of wasn't. So yeah, as you can see, I just kept hitting it, and also I didn't do it in this one, but I did keep healing Mega Dude with Hyper Potions, because Mega Dude was pretty much my only option for taking it down to that much health in 2 turns, or as it seemed like. So it's asleep, it's on low health, and also if it uses Ancient Power and buffs itself up, just restart the battle. Don't even bother, just load up your old save and try again. Because once it uses ancient power, it becomes harder to catch, and you know, with my strategy, I have such a small window to catch it that I can't have those chances being, you know, decreased even more. So with that, that's everything I have to do in the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this bonus part. You know, this is kind of a extra kind of secret thing that you can easily miss just because there's no guidance to actually doing it. You just kind of have to look it up. So I've been on Arseton23. Once again, thank you very much for watching this LP. If you were trying to catch this Pokemon or were using this for advice, then thanks for watching as well. So yeah, I will see you guys next time.